there is a bill on track to be signed into law by Governor Bill Lee. He said he plans on it, and it seems to be on that path in Tennessee that would essentially ban all drag queens from public and all drag performances from so many different places. And we're going to talk about the danger of this bill. We're going to talk about why it's absurd. But I want to upfront say, because this is what you have to be on the lookout for. This is a strategy that's being used by many, especially in these red states passing some wild laws, where you claim to be addressing one problem, but then kind of Trojan horse in a bunch of other things that you're going after. So the problem that's being claimed to be the purpose and what's being addressed here of this bill is sexualization of children and making sure children, for example, don't go to stripper shows. Okay, everyone can agree children shouldn't be going to a strip club. Everyone agrees we need to fight against grooming and sexualization of children. But then the bill takes that to mean ban drag queens from public. So don't be tricked. Whenever they pose to you something reasonable, like, don't you want to stop grooming? Of course. And then say, okay, so that's why you have to ban drag queens. Don't play that game. It's incredibly dishonest. Take a look at this from the Tennessean. Tennessee Governor Bill Lee said Monday he intends to sign an anti-drag show bill into law when it reaches his desk, the first time he has publicly taken a position on the legislation. The legislation bans adult-oriented entertainment that is harmful to minors from public property in places where they might be seen by children. The law specifically mentions go-go dancers, exotic dancers, strippers, and male or female impersonators, the latter of which includes drag performers. Under the bill, a first offense would be charged as a misdemeanor and the second as a felony for male or female impersonation. Now, of course, what they'll do is say, what are you for, strip clubs being open to children? No, but you're including male or female impersonators. Go, keep them out of the public eye. Do you understand how broad that is? And this misunderstanding about drag queens and drag performances is so enraging because often they conflate sexual drag shows with just being a drag queen, drag performances generally. And the point I've made in my personal life a lot is, you know how you have dancing? Like dancing. We know dancing, right? Okay, dancing. So dancing, you can have, I don't know why I said that so many times. It was going to be funny and then it got annoying. I know. You have sexual dancing I wouldn't want kids to see. Of course. Strippers at a strip club dance sexually. That's dancing, but I wouldn't want kids to see that. But then you also have dancing I would be perfectly great with children seeing. And so we can make that distinction with dancing. Drag performance is a different type of performance that includes dancing as well, but categorizing as a different type of performance. You could have sexual performances that might happen at certain types of clubs or whatever, and that would be for adults. And you can have normal or just drag performances without the sexual inclusion. And people say that's impossible, and their explanation is drag is inherently sexual, and it was created because of some fetish, and it's a sexual thing all the time, which that doesn't even track, because when you look into the history of drag performances, drag queens, you understand even in Shakespeare's day, the purpose of drag performances or performers was to fill roles that women weren't allowed to fill on stage in theaters, and so men would fill them being a drag queen. Interesting. Bet you didn't know that one. And so here, this is so vague, so purposefully targeting a group of people, and attempting to merge it with stripping or exotic dancers in front of children, which is really dishonest. And for example, I like Taylor Swift, all right? I'll say it. Go Taylor Swift. If for Halloween this year, I wanted to wear a cardigan, I don't know, and a wig that looked like Taylor Swift and hold a microphone and go in public and Swift it up, would that be against his law if I went and celebrated for some reason Halloween in Tennessee? I mean, the reason they're doing this is so that people are just afraid completely to express themselves in any way that's not okay with Governor Bill Lee. And it's pretty sickening, and people should be able to do these things. And no one's talking about sending children to strip clubs. No one's talking about the examples you can find of very sexual drag shows. No one's talking about children going to those. It's this purposeful blurring of the lines and merging of different ideas, dishonest portrayal of different ideas to target people and things that they find to be distasteful for whatever reason. Well, apparently Governor Bill Lee has done the horrible crime of dressing up as a woman.
Bills have gone through now. The transgender bill, ban children's transgender therapy, that's on your desk. Drag bill heads back to the Senate for a quick amendment before it hits your desk. Comfortable signing those types of legislation?
Yeah, I expect to sign both of them.
Josh?
Dressing in drag in 1977. Remember this?
What a ridiculous question that is.
It?
Conflating something like that to sexualized entertainment in front of children, which is a very serious subject.
Drag is not sexual.
Andy?
So apparently that's a yearbook photo of him dressed as a woman in high school or something. And it shows you the hypocrisy or the dishonesty of these talking points. Because if you actually cared about fighting against grooming, trying to decrease its prevalence in our society, preventing children from being sexualized, you would not be lying about what's going on in regard to people. You would not be targeting people needlessly. You would actually try to address the real problems that are there on that front, which matter. I think that matters. We should make sure kids aren't being sexualized, aren't being groomed, aren't being assaulted, all these different things. But guess who's not helping with that? You, because you're focusing on drag performances that are perfectly, not sexual, and making that out to be the problem purposely because it plays well with your base, because you just can't even handle that someone who's a man would wear a dress at some point. And it truly is dangerous, and it's not even close to what you would be doing if you actually cared about the problems that you're purporting to care about.